So hands, you're going to battle with hands forever if you really want to get into it, because they're pretty complicated. But again, they have very simple proportions and easy to understand. You can draw a square or a circle if you want, like a sort of an ellipse shape. So I'll do both, actually. In essence, once you have the basic size of the hand that you want to get down, and just as a side note, you might want to write this down, you can measure the hand size basically by the size of the figure's face. So if you take your own hand and you put it to your face, you'll see your hand's pretty much the size of your face. So that's a good way to get your hand size, just a general face size, the front of the face. Anyway, once you have your basic guideline, you know, you've got a square or something you want to draw your hand in, halfway through marks the point between the palm and the fingers. So we'll draw the fingers at the top and the palm at the bottom. And the palm you can just indicate with a circle. And the fingers you kind of want to arch. In the round version, I'm going to just arch them like this. The square version, I'm going to kind of trapezoid them. And the thumb basically falls halfway through the palm. Okay, I'll draw this one's thumb here. And if you look at your own thumb, it's kind of halfway into the palm, halfway out. So I indicate this with a circle, halfway in and halfway out. And another interesting thing is if you look at if you measure the joints, you align the joints of your thumb to the joints of your forefinger or your pointing finger, you'll see that the thumb's actually pretty long. It's about as long as the pointing finger in terms of its functionality. So that's a good way to make sure your hand looks right, making sure the thumb's long enough, because people tend to draw them very short. Okay, and let's move on to the fingers. The tip of this point, the very edge of your overall square or your arch that you've drawn, is actually the middle finger, and it's the tallest finger. Some of the stuff's going to sound obvious, so I do apologize for the obvious sound of it. And if you had to imagine a fingernail on this point, the next fingers are that same size down. So I'm drawing these circles to show the top of the next two fingers. I'm just drawing them as squares here, just to get it right in a measurement sense. And I'll do a draw over as well, just to clarify this roughness. And then, using that same measurement, the pinky finger is about 1.5 nails down. Now this looks a little crazy, but I'll draw over it. And then the thumb extends, if in an archway, this is the index finger here, the thumb extends to the base, so you want to kind of get a nice angled arch going on there from about here out this way. Okay, I know this looks a little insane. Let's do a draw over and make these look like real hands. Okay, so let me first do the measurement, then I'll do a draw over. So basically, you have a shape, whether it's an ellipse or whether it's a square. Half of that shape divides the fingers and the palm, right? Half of the palm shape shows the start of the thumb, right? And it applies to both of these illustrations. The highest point of this shape over here defines the height of the middle finger. And if you imagine a fingernail size on that finger, one fingernail size away down defines the height of the forefinger and the ring finger. Then 1.5 fingernail widths down is the height of the pinky finger, or little finger. This is slightly off. I do apologize because my circle down here is a little wide for a real hand, but I'll reel it back into reality. And let me do a draw over of this quickly. Okay, so once you've really learned proportions and you know how long things should be and you know where there are key markers for things. I haven't covered knuckles here, but we're just going to keep things a bit simple for now. You know exactly how things should look. I know I've drawn the fingers together here. You can draw them apart, doesn't matter, but I'll just sketch in a hand quickly on top of this. You can see I kind of went a little awry in some of the measuring out here, but as a proportional measure, it makes a lot of sense. And this side here of the palm is actually pretty flat. It only curves out a little bit. Yeah, that looks pretty okay. Same thing here. So those are general hand proportions. I'll do some decent hand sketches just now. But just remember the measurement sizes. I think if I have to kind of make a simplified form of it, it's, just for a formula, just kind of half, middle finger here at the highest point. Not necessarily in the center, but it could be. And then of course the joints, just as a quick reference, there are 2 joints on every finger, and they kind of just move in an arc like this. They're completely aligned. If you look at your own hand, and actually that's pretty much the best reference you're going to get, is looking at your own hand. You can see everything fits, even the knuckles are aligned in an arc.